Hey guys, hold on one sec. Let's start Facebook Live because I don't even know. Hey guys, RB here, blogging from paradise. I'm trying to do a little simulcast. Hold on one second. That might work. This might work, and that's not going to work. So sit tight, guys. Okay. Bear with me. Point at people. Get set up in here. Do a little video talking about how to pick a blogging niche. This works. Oh, I like this. Alright, that's cool. I can get down with that. And this is a better setup too. I don't feel like the lappy or the phone's gonna be an issue. So, guys, before we get into the blog posts, what's up, Andrew? Wanted to say, stop by bloggingfromparadise.com. We have blogging courses, blogging manuals, aka ebooks, and a lot of helpful blog content as well to inspire you to be a professional blogger. And that's that. And I think my wife, I don't know if she's sleeping or not, so hold on a sec. Close the door. Are you sleeping or not? Okay. Cool. So just like doing a video on how to pick a blogging niche, and I'll break down one of my recent blog posts to assist you in picking a niche. I think a lot of bloggers, it's a very important decision because you want to pick a niche that you feel passionate about, but in the same regard, there has to be some level of demand for that niche. So it can't just be, well, I want to talk about this and people will stop by, or no. You want to make sure there's a demand for that niche. But in the same regard, you don't want to chase a niche just because it's popular. That leads to tons of problems, and I've seen a lot of bloggers quit over the years sooner than later because they chase popular niches that appear to be profitable, but they don't have passion for blogging, for the niche, and when the results don't pop up quickly, and they never do, the person loses the motivator. So then they quit. So it can't be just one or the other. You have to really drill down and really adopt a little more scientific approach where you think this through, a more intentional, deliberate approach. So we'll start off, guys, with the first step to picking your blogging niche. And of course, it's fairly important because you're going to be blogging about this niche for quite a while. In order to thrive, you want to have fun, you want to enjoy it, there has to be a demand, and it's just something, when you pick a niche, it's something to think about. You're going to be blogging for a while. And of course, you could always change niches. That's fine. It's not a big deal. Yet, if you start intelligently and deliberately, you really want to be intentional, guys, with everything you do in life, of course. But with blogging-wise, when you're picking a niche, if you get really clear on it before you actually buy your domain and hosting and you start blogging covering that niche, not only will you save yourself a ton of headaches down the road, you'll also start successfully. So even though it's going to take a while to succeed, you'll see success so much more quickly than people that don't. And I keep pointing to the head because you really want to think this through, that don't pick a niche intelligently. So number one, guys, follow your fun. In the post I wrote and I published today, or updated, but I redid it, I say passionate bloggers persist through inevitable blogging obstacles. No matter how skilled, inherently talented you are, the advice you follow, even if you're following professional blogger advice, guys, you'll run into obstacles guaranteed. You'll face resistance guaranteed, because all of us bloggers, we're humans who have fears. And if you have a fear in your mind, if it's up here, it will manifest as an obstacle Just happens. We project these fears out into the world. We create obstacles for ourselves. So the bloggers that are passionate, that really love what they do, meaning they're covering a niche they really have fun covering, they feel really good about it, they're the ones that when they face obstacles and these different fears and forms of resistance and frustration that just pops up from time to time, they keep going because their love of blogging, of covering the niche, of discussing it, of helping people is stronger than their fear that's creating the obstacle. And also, this is really, really important, guys. You have to blog about a niche that feels really fun to you and that you feel just is an enjoyable experience. You have a passion for it, because if you choose your driver as making money predominantly, mainly, or gaining popularity, or just chasing a profitable, popular niche, you're going to quit quickly, because the money never comes fast, the popularity never comes fast, the love never comes fast from other people, solely because it takes quite a long time to practice enough to be skilled, credible, and seen enough to actually make money. That's why everybody who chases money quits, and everybody who chases popularity quits fast. Or maybe they stick around for a bit, but they keep making the same silly mistakes, and then they quit. They struggle, fail, quit. Struggle, fail, quit. This is such a common blogging pattern. It's self-sabotage, self-fulfilling prophecy. You have these bloggers that don't follow their fun. They're like, I gotta make money, and they skip all the steps necessary to make the money, and they keep failing, struggling, failing, and then they quit. And this is so common, and I advise bloggers to please do something that you feel passionate about. So the first step to picking a blogging niche, you gotta love it to see the journey through. Like Andrew says in the comments, you have to care. You have to. Because not only will it shine through and bloggers will see, this person's not being too genuine, and they'll run away, you'll quit. Because you'll say, I'm not making any money, I'll quit. But when you're passionate, when it's something you really care about, you will keep going, because the driver's internal. It's in your heart. You could say in the mind. It's in the mind. So the stuff out there, the numbers, low stats, nobody's showing up, it doesn't really bother you as much. There'll be frustration, obstacles, but you're like, I love it, so I'm going to keep going. Because it's not out here where you're looking for the driver. It's in here, and if it's in here, you'll keep going. Logically, this is very simple. Emotionally, got to face your fears. You have to get really clear. So make a list of, say, 3 to 5 niches where you say to yourself, if you have that many, and that's okay, I really, really love this niche. So maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say 5. Jog your mind a little bit. If you're willing to sit there for 10, 15, 20 minutes and build your list of 3 to 4 to 5 niches you feel passionate about, that you're like, I think I would have a lot of fun blogging about these niches, you have step 1. If you think it'd be fun to discuss this topic, it'd be fun to help people, it'd be fun to connect with people, to communicate with people, to bond with people who have a similar interest who I could help through this topic, that's step 1 to finding your blogging niche. You have to care. You have to be passionate. You have to love it, because that's the intent, the driver, the fuel for doing this for a long time until you get really good at it. And you're only going to succeed when you get really good at it. And it takes a lot of practice and a lot of time, a lot of creating, a lot of connecting. It's called reality, which is how it should be. This is fun. Take your time. Enjoy the journey. You have to. If not, you'll quit. So that's step number 1, how to select a blogging niche. Step number 2, and make sure I don't do this step by itself for the censors out there. Vet your 3 to 4 to 5 niches you're passionate about that seem like they'd be really fun to explore. Vet these ideas, validate them, by step number 2, pinpointing a pressing problem. So alliteration aside, you have to find a pressing problem. You have to see a demand for your passion, because other human beings are going to read your blog if you intend to be successful, if you intend to help other people. It can't just be about you. You have to do some research and say, I feel passionate about these topics, but let me check each one and see if, when I'm checking each one, let me see if there is some form of demand. Other people out there are like, and in most cases, there's going to be that demand, totally. But you have to at least do the research and see there are people out there that are interested in this topic. So you're going to vet the idea, you're going to validate it. You're going to say these topics, let's say 5 topics, I'm passionate. Let me look for each topic. I'm going to check each one, each niche. And you can do this. One of the strategies, one of the ways to do it is to use Google Semantic search. So you can go to Google, type the main keyword or key phrase into Google, and then see the list of keywords that drop down. What is it, 8 or 10 results? I think it's 8 through semantic search. So you'll get an idea. Okay, for example, someone like me, blogging niche, blogging tips niche. I would look up the keyword blogging or perhaps blogging tips. You want to think about certain keywords that people interested in the niche would search for. Just get very general, be the most general, the most competitive keyword. And when you see a series of long tail keyword through Google Semantic Search, if you see them pop up and then you start exploring each one and Googling each one of those, when you're seeing a list of keywords and when you click through and maybe check 3 or 4 or 5, check the page 1 results. If there are blog posts covering each of these keywords that are being published on authority blogs, where the posts are recent and relevant, and there seems to be an interest, these posts are being shared, there's engagement in reaction to these posts or in response. And then you take these keywords and you go to a site like Answer the Public, and I think you have 1 free search a day, but you could pay, at least used to be that way, but I'm pretty sure it's still legit. Put in that, say, blogging keyword in my case, and see if a bunch of keywords pop up. And if a bunch of keywords pop up through Answer the Public and through Google Semantic Search, and then what you could do too, again, practical example, blogging niche, blogging tips niche, blogging, go to a site like Reddit and query the keyword, and go to a site like Quora and query the keyword and see the type of demand, see how large the groups are, see that are covering these topics with their subreddits or whatever, and basically get an idea. Are there a lot of people out there? There are thousands and tens of thousands and maybe hundreds of thousands of people. And there's really not a threshold level. If you're just seeing a bunch of people talking about these topics on Quora, on Reddit, on Google through semantic search, when you're looking at that basic keyword, and then on Answer the Public, when you see 100, 150, whatever, keywords popping up, and people are searching this general keyword, then you have a demand for it. You don't have to get specifically into just real clear volumes of words, because it's more about your passion and a general demand that, a lot of people are looking this stuff up. Thousands, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands. You have a passion, and when you have that demand, that thousands, the tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands of people are Googling these topics, and they're talking about it on Quora, talking about Reddit, it's been validated. You can blog about it, because then you know that there are tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands to potentially millions of people that are highly interested in this topic. But this is an important step, and this is a step that, admittedly, in the past, I did it for my blog, but I didn't teach it as much. Now that I'm clear on it, I really want to put it out there for you guys, where I would say the passion creates the niche, and technically from an energetic, from an intent perspective, it does, because your passion is that powerful. as far as our oneness and our connectedness in the quantum field? It is. But practically, guys, this tip will give you much greater clarity when you think about there's a demand for it and you're seeing it and you feel more confident and clear on it. And you're like, there's a lot of people out there that are interested. Google semantic search. Answer the public. Quora. Reddit. Yeah. Okay. If that's the case and I'm passionate about it, then this is a potential niche for me to select. Do your, say, 5 passionate blog post niche ideas. Does each of these niches, when you look it up on Quora, Reddit, Answer the Public, and Google semantic search, are there a lot of people searching for the main keywords and then semantic keywords that pop down? Are there big groups on subreddits on Reddit, and are a lot of people answering questions on Quora, asking questions about this blogging keyword, the one, or maybe a couple top competitive semantic search terms? Yeah, then you're fine. You're good to go. Then you can blog about it because there's a lot of people out there who would be interested in it. So as long as you have that demand for each of those keywords, go to step 3. You vetted each one. First one, be highly passionate about a topic when you're looking to pick a blog niche. Number 2, vet the keywords. See that there's demand through those sites. So let's say each of the 5 ideas, you vetted them. There's that demand. You feel really passionate about the topic. You feel like it'd be really fun to explore. Then you get to step 3. You have to pick one niche that you feel most passionate about above all others. You already know there's a demand. The reason why you're using that passion driver for the one niche as opposed to the most popular or profitable niche, from my perspective, how I teach it, is when push comes to shove and there's a passion and there's some popularity and demand, the passionate blogger will always beat the blogger who's less passionate and chasing a more popular, profitable niche. Sit with the alliteration for a moment. And the reason is when the driver comes from here, from your love, it always beats the outside conditions. And every high-level, popular, famous, successful blogger in the world who I've personally know or who I've followed and studied for the past 14 years as a blogger, passion is the number one, even if they're not aware of it. Some of them don't teach it because they're not aware. Unconsciously, they can't spot they just can't sometimes, and that's okay. That's how we all roll at times. We can't spot these things. Passion is what drives these people to blog for free for a long time before the profits come in. The targeted traffic, the profits, the organic traffic. So please pick that one niche that you're most passionate about and go with that. You already have the demand. You don't want to chase money when you try to whittle down to one niche for step number 3. Or popularity over the passion, because that's going to be wild, up and down. When it doesn't come and you're not passionate, you'll quit even at that point. Or you'll niche hop, which is another huge mistake. Because every time you start with a new niche, even though you could do it, of course, feel free to do it. If you made a mistake, you have to. Every time you start with a new blogging niche, even though you have the intelligence blogging-wise of gaining some blogging experience, and you have the benefit of blogging experience, you still have to develop credibility, expertise, authority, and exposure in the new niche. So you're not starting over because you're taking blogging experience, with you, but you are starting in a new niche, and you're going to have to develop your name there. It's going to take some time and energy. But when you start the right way, when you're not niche hopping, and you feel really passionate and you know there's demand in that one niche, you'll hit the ground running, and you'll succeed more quickly than you realize because of your clarity and your passion. But it's still going to take a long time and a lot of work, and that's okay. The reason why you pick one niche, and this is another one of my favorite topics to discuss, and not multiple, is because the world loves specialists and distrusts generalists. A multi-niche blogger is a generalist. A generalist is a jack of all trades and master of none. When you try to do multiple things and cover multiple niches, you don't master any of them. And the bloggers who followed your blog for one niche, when they see you cover another niche with the next post, they become confused. They slowly or quickly lose trust in you and your credibility, and they stop following your blog. So it's almost like you have to reinvent yourself every time, and so many multi-niche bloggers struggle, fail, and quit. There's a select few that get really clear on maybe like 2 niches, and that's okay. However, if they picked one niche, their success would accelerate so much more quickly because they'd gain so much more trust. If you hire a lawyer, you would not be confident in hiring the lawyer if they also delivered pizzas on the side and picked up garbage in the morning, because you'd say, wait a second, I'm going to go to the lawyer who gave all of their attention and energy to being a lawyer professionally, because the world trusts specialists and distrusts generalists. Only because where your attention and energy goes grows. If you're sick and you're going to go to a doctor, you go to a doctor who gives all their professional attention and energy to being a doctor because they're a specialist. If your doctor delivered pizza and worked at a Chinese food restaurant as a delivery person, pizza delivery person, and they delivered mail professionally, and then they were a doctor for like 2 hours a day, you would not trust that individual with your life. Or even if it wasn't with your life and it was just a cold, you would not trust that individual. You'd walk right out of their office and you'd go to a doctor who's just a doctor with all their professional attention and energy. It makes perfect sense offline. We don't have to really even discuss it. But for some odd reason, it's the ego, because of an egoic, I want to cover these few topics and I want to do it. And you don't think about, it's not what you really want not ultimately, but across the board. There has to be some link between what you enjoy and then what readers want. There has to be the demand. People lose this general common sense when it comes to specializing versus generalizing. And they think that readers want to follow someone who changes topics with the wind or who tries to cover 5 topics. Because what happens is, and just as an example, someone's covering blogging and, say, internet marketing. If they look at that blog and they see the person jumping back and forth between, 20 okay posts, but they can't be that good because the person's trying to specialize in 2 areas. And then they're like, listen, this blog's okay, and there's some solid blogging content and SEO content, but then they come across Darren Rouse's Pro Blogger, which is an unbelievable, overwhelming almost resource, not overwhelming, but incredibly rich blogging tips resource. They're going to follow him. And for internet marketing, they're going to go to Internet Marketing Blogger, or let's say blogging and SEO. Rather than follow the multi-niche blogger, why would you follow someone who does an okay job with 2 niches when you would just follow the specialist and follow someone like Darren Rouse at ProBlogger and say search engine land for SEO? We trust specialists. We do not trust generalists. Specialists are the most credible people because they master their niche inside out, and their ish. You want to think about it that way. But it's important to realize this when you're selecting a blogging niche. Don't multi-niche it. So that's step number 3. Where are we at now, time-wise? 25 minutes. I got to do a little reading. Got dinner coming pretty soon. And step number 4, because you've pared down to a single niche, you can consider, if appropriate, if it serves you and your readers, if it seems the most beneficial, niching down. And that basically means, guys, if you've picked a broad niche or a competitive niche, like, say, personal development, there's a lot of subdivisions there. You could really niche down. Instead of saying, okay, I'm going to pick this personal development niche and go really wide and try to cover all these topics, and you can't specialize as much. It's tougher to stand out on a worldly level. It feels a little more competitive. it might be wise to niche down and say, well, instead of covering personal development, and you have to do this on a case-by-case basis, think about it intuitively, it might make a lot more sense to say, well, how about instead of blogging about personal development, which is a really broad niche and there appears to be a lot of competition, so many topics to cover, how about I just specialize in mindset training? That sounds good. Because right off the bat, it's not as broad. You could focus on this smaller niche of specializing. So with each post, you could really drill down and share these in-depth, detailed tips, which you then optimize for SEO based on long-tail keywords, which will help you rank more quickly on Google. So on a worldly level, you don't want to think, you want to think abundantly, but as you get clearer, you want to think less competition, less apparently going against people, and more about, like Andrew says in the comments, specialization matters, more about specializing. So you might want to niche down. You don't have to. Consider niching down if appropriate. You can go broader if you want. That's okay too, but this could help bloggers. It could really help bloggers because when you do niche down, you have these subsets now, these sub-niches, again, mindset training, then you can get into mindset training rituals and books about mindset training, and you could really drill down with a 1,500-word, 2,000-word, highly detailed post based on long-tail keywords in this sub-niche when you niche down, and when you specialize and become an expert more quickly, still takes time, by driving a lot more long-tail Google traffic, you'll be able to draw a lot of targeted traffic to your blog that's quote-unquote high quality, which means these are like buyers. These are customers and clients. People are specifically looking for these keywords in this specialized niche. So it's up to you whether you want to niche down or not. If it's not a hyper-competitive niche, if it's not, even if it's pretty broad, you could tackle it. You don't have to niche down. But that's up to you. That's always going to be this intuitive thing. I would suggest if it's a really wide niche, very broad, again, personal development comes to mind. Specialize. Why try to outrank or go against or just think, oh gosh, I now have 50,000 blog post ideas. Why not focus on mindset training and gain authority and expertise in that niche more quickly, succeed more quickly? It's not about volume. I mean, there has to be some demand, but it's more about specializing in driving highly targeted quality traffic, which helps you prosper, which helps you, grow your business, make money, land clients, land customers. You're going to get ad clicks, affiliate marketing. You're selling stuff and making a cut. Come like me, sell more courses, sell more ebooks, manuals, because you're specializing. So guys, we're coming up on a half hour. I got dinner pretty soon, a little mind training going on down here. A couple of frequently asked questions, FAQs. How do you choose the perfect niche when you're thinking about that? How to select a blogging niche? There's no such thing as a perfect niche. The point I made in the post, there's the right niche for you, the appropriate niche. You have to be careful about that perfect niche bit because a lot of bloggers who ask that question struggle on the sidelines for days and weeks and even months trying to find that profitable niche, that perfect niche, and then the demand, and they think, okay, right now this is the most profitable niche, but what about tomorrow? In their mind, that second most profitable niche appears to have more profit potential for the future, and they keep going back and forth because in their mind, perfect comes with so much heaviness and, well, if I pick this niche, maybe it's not the perfect one tomorrow, and so much loss. So move away from that and just focus on this core idea. Pick a niche you feel passionate about. Assess demand. Vet the ideas. We're going to work with 3 to 5 niches, and then see, is there that demand with that strategy I talked about before, these practical tips. And if there is, drill down to one. That's the ideal niche for you. The best niche. Or the right niche. And number 2, frequently asked questions about how to pick a blogging niche. What is the most important part? Oh, wait a second. I already answered my question. That's the most important part. And that's the perfect niche as well. But really, perfect niche, when you're thinking about that, it doesn't exist. And then FAQ number 2, jumped ahead. It's basically what I just said. Select the niche you feel passionate about. Match that passion with a pressing blogging problem based on research. You got to vet the idea. That perfect niche, guys, it doesn't exist. It's the right niche. The right niche that you'll feel passionate about, that help you solve people's problems where there's demand, and then you'll profit. So that's it, guys. We're coming up on a half hour now. I just published a post on this topic on bloggingfromparadise.com. If you are interested, check it out. And again, guys, I have online courses over there. How to get featured on world famous blogs is one of the courses, and also how to become a pro blogger in 5 steps, as well as manuals, which I've moved over to Cells. No, I'm sorry, got rid of Cells because Cells is gone. Now I've moved them over to Gumroad and Payhip. And that's it. You'll find them on the manuals link on my blog, and tons of great blog posts. Thanks so much for joining, guys. These are the steps for how to select a blogging niche. Have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And until next time, you know what to do. Enjoy paradise, everybody.